But to understand why we struggle to be authentic, let's first understand if we are born inauthentic.
If I am right, if I understand it correct, you are saying that a person who lives in, let's say, some third world country should not have aspiration to become successful. I just remembered a quote of Gandhi. He said, people, first they will ridicule you, then they will argue with you, then they will criticize you. In the end, you will win.
We cannot completely isolate from society. Okay, we have to live in the society, and we have this natural want to belong to society or belong to the people that are close to us.
In your opinion, do you think we are living authentically in general? Shireen, I would like to understand, a person is supposed to ignore the advice of these people and just follow their own passion according to you.
If you want to eat in a certain way, wear clothes in a certain way, speak in a certain way, other people might not accept you because they would want you to live as per the majority, as per everyone else around you in the society. And it would be a disconnect for you because you will feel like you don't belong because other people will cast you out. So you have to bear in mind that you could get lonely.
Do you think, from your experience, that this kind of lack of authenticity is also damaging the personal relationships?
This is a very interesting question, Afrin, because
hello and welcome to the new episode of our podcast, From You to You. Here we discuss all the possibilities of becoming the best version of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. I am Afreen Khan, an internationally certified yoga teacher and a healthy lifestyle coach.
hey there, I am Shirin Khan and I am a certified life coach.
Well, Shireen, before we start our episode today, I would like to begin with the quote of the famous Swiss psychologist Dr. Carl Jung. He says, the privilege of the lifetime is to become who you truly are. Now, this sentence has extreme importance to it for two reasons. Number one, here, according to Dr. Carl, the achievement of a person at the end of the life, or let's say when you are old and you go back in time and you compare what exactly that you have achieved, so becoming who you truly are or becoming your authentic self is the real achievement. That's the first point. Second point, why do you think he is calling it an achievement? Because it's not at all easy.
Of course.
Yeah. So becoming who you truly are or embracing your authentic self is the toughest thing to do because it requires courage and a tremendous amount of inner strength to stand, authentic.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible. Even though it is difficult, it is totally doable. So in today's topic, we are going to talk about how to live authentic life, how to embrace your authenticity, and what exactly stands in between you and your authentic self. All those things in detail with you. So Shireen, my first question for you is, according to you, what does living authentically mean?
So, living in accordance with your natural abilities, your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, your thoughts, your feelings, even, and your perception,
Right.
and not conforming to the norms of the society is called living authentically.
Great.
Yeah, and I can give you an example what living authentically looks like. So growing up, I always had too much reservations towards, attending gatherings or parties. It would make me really, really uncomfortable. But I had no guts back then to tell people that how uncomfortable it's making me. So for years and years and years, I continued going to the parties and, in return getting really, really uncomfortable. And it wouldn't be a mild discomfort, it would be a discomfort for days, sometimes weeks, and sometimes even after years I would remember some glimpse of it, and it would make me really, really uncomfortable. But I was not able to say it to people, okay? And even I didn't know what's the reason, because party is fun, right? Everyone is supposed to enjoy in a party.
Yeah.
But it wasn't happening for me. Then one day I sat and then I did some research, and I found that since I am an introvert, I gain energy from being alone. And whenever I am like around people, around different people or a large group of people, it drains my energy.
Right.
So it kind of opened my eye, and then I thought about being authentic about it. And then whoever would invite me, I would tell that it makes me really uncomfortable and I cannot come. Okay, some parties maybe I went to, but by and large, by being authentic, I avoided putting myself in an uncomfortable situation. Plus, lying to people or hiding on the day of party, all those things which were creating misunderstandings, that I was able to avoid. So if we are able to live what is true to yourself, obviously you can live much more comfortably.
Completely can relate to that. I think if we don't have to compromise on our values and our true self, then you feel a different kind of freedom.
Of course.
And it's like addictive, that kind of freedom. So I'm glad you could open up, and more than that, you could really understand the reason why you were not enjoying those parties.
Yeah.
So, Shireen, that brings me to my next question. In your opinion, do you think we are living authentically in general?
It is not a social phenomenon, so to speak. It is a personal choice. Okay, many people live authentically when it comes to their personal relationships or maybe with family.
Yeah.
But when it comes to work life or social scenarios, we struggle to be authentic.
And why do you think we struggle to be authentic?
There are so many reasons. Okay, but to understand why we struggle to be authentic, let's first understand if we are born inauthentic.
Yeah.
Okay, so when a baby is born, if he is hungry, he cries.
Yeah.
If he needs attention from his parents or immediate caregivers, he cries.
Right.
And then he gets attention. So by the age of say 18 months to 2 years, when a baby starts to develop self awareness, he learns that certain actions that he is doing, like be it crying or maybe smiling at people, is getting him more attention and more love. So he starts to do more of it.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that we are not born inauthentic, but when we get more awareness, when we get more sense of the world around us, we start to behave in an inauthentic way, where we are trying to please people for some or the other gain. So this only grows when we grow further. We want more attention, we want more love, then we want more recognition, more belonging, more money,
Yeah.
and all of that. So this need of more and more and more makes us to wear masks and be inauthentic in the process and live a life of maybe someone else that is going to please. So for example, employees trying to live up to the expectation of the employer or their bosses, sometimes it is inauthentic, right? In the process we are compromising on so many values of ours. So it is a great example of being inauthentic. So as we grow up, it only grows. Okay, and so it reaches to an extent that we create our fake authentic.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. Nowadays, if you see on social media, like these personal brands, so they have created a brand image, okay, where they will be posting one day their personal stories, other day they will be putting something related to business, then the next day some vulnerabilities that they have experienced. So the idea behind this is that since we all connect to the vulnerability, as an audience we consume. If someone has shown their vulnerability or talked about their personal life, it's just human nature. So just to make it more engaging, they are utilizing all these tactics. So it's not like people don't have vulnerabilities. That's not what I'm talking about. But finding out that one vulnerability, the relevant target audience is getting more connected to them, is what is fake authentic for me. And it grows so much that people start to believe their fake authentic is their authenticity. It is quite dangerous.
Yeah. It is. It sounds quite paradoxical as well, fake and authentic at the same time. But what you say makes complete sense. And I look around, and there are a lot of fake, authentic people. And the worst part of social media, although that's not the topic, I just was reading an article and says that the worst part or side effect of social media in today's world is people are losing authenticity and they are becoming fake, and most of the times everybody is becoming like everybody else.
Yeah, and the comparison, because I think one of the roots for being inauthentic is comparisons, because we all want to live a life of an ideal person that we have chosen for ourselves. Okay, and in the process we completely forget who we are, what is our individuality, what values that we carry and how we are raised. All those things are lost somewhere, and we are just trying to live a life that looks ideal to us online or maybe in even real life,
just to impress others.
Yeah, to impress others and get more money maybe, or get more recognition, just in general, even social acceptance for that
I
matter.
think just to fit in.
Yeah.
I have seen people faking a lot just to fit in and completely ignoring their authentic self. And I have also observed that even though they know who they are,
Yeah.
I mean, they are very much in connection with their authenticity, but they know that if I have to fit in and if I have to make friends, move around in the circle, then I need to act like a certain kind of person, and that's what they do. So that's why I feel it is an act of courage, really, to be authentic.
Yeah, and it is not they, if you would ask me, I would not like to put the blame on people around us, because in some way or the other, we all are guilty of living inauthentic in one way or the other.
Correct.
Because obviously we want, if not money or any material gain, we all want love and acceptance and the feeling of belonging. So that makes us do sometimes lot of compromises and be inauthentic in the way.
Yeah. So, Shirin, coming back to what we were discussing about the fake, authentic social media influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, according to you, is it all marketing gimmicks?
First of all, here we are not blaming everyone, okay? Because it is very individual how fake or how authentic you are being. But whoever is trying to create a fake authentic, you can, like, even match the profiles of people because they follow the trends. You will see them posting something similar. So even if in the same industry, if you are comparing different people, they all have the same narrative. So instead of selling what they can offer, their unique skills or unique product, they will sell you what you want to buy.
Right. Okay. So, what you mean to say is by comparing their profile, we can spot them.
Yeah, of course. If we are being mindful, and we all have this, call it sixth sense or whatever, that we can recognize if someone is being inauthentic.
Yeah.
So if you are being mindful, just not consuming whatever is being put out there, I think we can very well spot who is fake and who is real authentic.
Correct.
And yeah, following trends and creating same kind of content around your products and doing same kind of marketing is a big indicator that you have nothing unique to offer. You just want to sell anyway and make money.
And you just want to be one of the leagues.
Yeah, because it sells, right? So sell it. Another reason why people are just doing this is that it is so hard. If you have something unique product and a unique skill set, and most of the people are not able to connect because you are not like the rest of them. You are different. No matter how good you are, people have a tendency to not accept something which is very unique to them. Okay, it takes time, and people don't want to go through the trouble of that down period that they will face. So this is, I think, major challenge for marketing, and people succumb to it. Even though they realize that on the way they are being inauthentic, they still choose to be inauthentic and just sell because people want to even survive, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. So, Shireen, as I understand, in digital world, okay, mostly when it comes to digital marketing, when people are selling their personal brands, or other companies are selling through these people, authenticity kind of is being faked. Do you think it is also in real life?
Of course, this is just an example of how people are being inauthentic on social media. But even in real life, because selling is not happening only for the products or not just online. Selling is, your day-to-day interaction, how you want other people to perceive you. So you are selling kind of your image, right? So I am talking about all kind of selling where you are interacting with other person with an intention to get something out of it, either money, either recognition, like I said, or love, or even just an acceptance from them. So I'm talking about all the interactions that people have in general with each other.
Right.
And plus, of course, the actual selling of the products and services as well.
Right. Makes sense. Why do you think people struggle too much to be authentic?
So first reason I said you was wanting something. Okay. The second reason and a major reason why we struggle to be authentic is lack of self-awareness. So I always, emphasize on self-awareness because everything starts from it. Until we know that what are our values, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what thought system that we carry, how can we even form a way of living? So when we are not self-aware ourselves, either, we get carried away with whatever that is being put out in the world or in the media, or we start to follow people blindly. So someone in your circle is saying something or doing something, you would just want to, follow that. So when we don't know who we are really, so obviously we have to live a life. So we follow the path of the people are around us. Okay, especially to get success at anything, because we feel like if someone has already done it and already set an example, we just want to follow that path because it is so hard for us to find our own. So a good example of it would be, how we get very fascinated and we get awestruck by looking at success stories of people like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Oprah, Warren Buffett. And there is nothing wrong as such, by getting inspired when you read the stories and great things that these people have done, and just finding that inspiration to do something of your own. But the problem is when you try to follow the path of these people, like copy the exact same strategy or exact same ways that other people have done. And success stories do not work in general for most of us. The reason number one, you do not have any uniqueness or a well defined success or goal for yourself, because a goal or success could look like one thing to one person and something else to other person. What I mean is success is different for everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously your definition of success or happiness is different than my definition of success and happiness. And when we are being true to ourselves and we have already defined what success or happiness means to us, then obviously we will not blindly follow. And many people in my coaching practice, when I ask like, what do you want? What is your ambition? Why you have come to me? So they are like, we want money, we want a lot of money, and we want to get rich. So there is nothing wrong with it on a superficial level. Okay, that is the ambition. But when I dig deep and when we reach to a level of coaching where all the things from inside are coming to the surface, then even they learn and even I learn that it is not money they want. For example, so there is one client who came to me, okay, and when I asked him, what is that you want? Okay, what are you expecting to become or get? So he told me that I want to, get rich. And then this narrative continued for 2 3 sessions. Okay, then slowly he started to open up, and then he told like he was very deprived as a child, and he had no money, and his father worked hard. There was no case of absent father. His father was very much around, but he was not able to provide. And then he suffered. He didn't have good education. That made his life very very difficult. And now he is in some kind of job, but he wants to make a lot of money, because inside he is very very insecure that his children might have to live the same life that he lived as a kid. So here his value is to provide for his children, not exactly the money. So only by having this realization that what is your actual value, then what you think, because even we can be misled by our own selves, right?
Yeah.
But defining what is underlying values, would get you the clarity and even the goal setting accordingly. Another reason I would say success stories of people do not work for everyone is that we never consider the circumstances. What I mean by that is, for example, when we are talking about these successful people like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, for that matter, we are not considering their circumstances. So just by looking at them, and someone who sits in, say, who's sitting in a third world country and aspiring to be a successful figure in the Silicon Valley, or maybe in IT field or in e-commerce or digital marketing field, how possible is that for that person? Because for all we know, they might not even have a proper internet connection or Wi-Fi to have access to all these things related to his aspirations. So considering the circumstances is also a major factor many people forget to do, and that's the reason it does not work. So the success formula of other person may not work for us.
Shireen, this sounds a bit discouraging to me. So, if I am right, if I understand it correct, you are saying that a person who lives in, let's say, some third world country has should not have aspiration to become successful.
Good thing is that today we are talking about authenticity, and success and authenticity go hand in hand. So I told you earlier that success could look different to every person, and it is a combination of your own natural abilities, that is a God gift, and also the skills that you have learned in your life plus circumstances. So if you want to aspire to replicate exact copy of someone else's success, that might not be possible. So I'm not trying to say you should not have aspirations, or you should, be limiting yourself because you don't have circumstances. But what I'm trying to say is defining your success properly. Because if you look at some ideal of success and you are not reaching there because of your circumstances, or because you don't naturally lack those skills, you will be gutted in the process, and you will give up. You will stop believing in any success stories. So rather than that, you should understand beforehand that what should success mean to you, based on your circumstances, based on your situation, your resources, of course. So everyone can aspire to reach stars, obviously, and they may get there. Obviously the path is not easy, but at least understanding the step by step process and the amount of hard work it will take for them to reach to other person's success would make it much easier way to walk than just doing the efforts willy-nilly and then regretting in the process. I will give you my own example. So between both of us, you are a successful yoga teacher and you have your health and fitness coaching business, right? And just by looking at you and your success, I want to become a yoga teacher myself tomorrow. How feasible is that for me? Not that it is impossible for me, but I'm talking about feasibility, because you have been living this dream, working hard for about 10 years and practicing yoga for more than 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't have that. I have never practiced those many years in my life, and I'm still recovering from the trauma that's been caused by being in 9 to 5 jobs. So it is not possible to compare my situation to your situation. I am not saying that I'm limiting myself, that I can't do this, but I can't do this tomorrow. Maybe I have to spend years of practice to get to this ambition. Going back to the question that you asked me, like people should not aspire. Another reason why success stories do not work is usually people tell their stories when they have become successful after 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And when they are telling a story, they might have forgotten half the details of what has happened when they started, right? So all the struggles that they have done are not shown in the process. And also we all have a natural tendency to sound hero in our own story. So when these stories are being told to you, obviously they stand as a hero, which may or may not be true, right? So we can't go back in time and verify all the details. So that's the reason you should be mindful. Okay, get inspiration from everyone around you, but consider your own life circumstances, and your own skills as well.
I completely agree. I think understanding your true potential and doing something, utilizing that potential, making it big is the right way
To do it,
to
yeah.
do it and to become successful. And that success feels like flawless,
Of course.
So someone is gifted with singing and they just understand that talent and work on it. Success comes easy and you really enjoy doing that every moment.
Yeah, of course, success is never easy, for that matter. But at least you would cut half the struggle, because if you are true to your natural abilities, in your example of singing, if someone possesses natural talent for singing, they don't have to struggle, okay, to sing basically, which is their main profession, right? Maybe they will struggle with other part of the profession, but not singing itself.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the singing talent plus other difficulties, it will make the process all the more difficult.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I said earlier, people can spot if you are being authentic or not. There's the reason people with natural gifts, if they go in the same field, are much more successful, much more famous, and much more accepted by people than someone who has tried really hard, to become something that they are not naturally.
Yeah, and I have also observed one thing. We tend to look at others,
Yeah.
and the moment we see, oh, okay, they are making money doing something, so even if we don't have that talent, we tend to choose that path because we also want to make money.
Yeah.
So we only look at the end product, but we are not really keen on understanding that what all goes in the process.
Yeah.
I have seen that a lot.
Yeah.
So anyways, Shireen, I would like to understand, as we just discussed, so a person is supposed to ignore the advice of these people and just follow their own passion, according to you?
I would not say ignore completely,
Mhm.
because any successful person has to teach a lot in terms of experiences. Every person has different experiences in their life, and we can get inspired from somewhere, get motivated also, and even learn a lesson through other people's experiences. So I wouldn't say like completely disregard what other people have to offer to you in terms of advice, but be very mindful what suits you the best.
Right.
Okay, so you should be focusing on your own circumstances much more than the stories that people are telling you. For example, okay, if someone wants to start a business, okay, and he goes to someone who is in the industry for 10 to 20 years and already a millionaire, and seeks advice how possible it is that this person who has an established business for 10 to 20 years will give any useful advice, because he is already 20 years ahead of this person, at least thousands of steps ahead from this person who is just starting out. So even if he offers some advice, it won't be of any help. Okay, and like I said earlier, people want to look heroic in their own stories. So obviously, he won't be very authentic in giving advice as well. Okay, but if he goes to someone who has just started the business maybe 1 year ago, and they are in the process of obviously just started out and then wanting to grow their business, maybe the advice of this person will help, because it is relevant, and still they remember a lot of details from their struggle to start a business.
Yeah.
In the same example, if say this person has been working in his business for 10 years, but he wants to take it to the next level and bring in more profit, then maybe he can go to someone who has a little bit more experience of say 15, 20 years in the business. So following step by step process, and I think it's smartness that we all should learn to understand and pick up the advice which is really helpful to us, rather than just believing because someone is successful. Seeking the advice from the right person is very essential.
Being able to distinguish,
Yeah.
what advice would be more useful, even though someone who is new in the industry could be more relevant, instead of someone who
Yes.
is very senior.
Yeah.
So because there is no relevance, there is a huge time gap.
Time gap, experience gap,
Yeah.
resources gap.
Understandable.
So many things, and we tend to forget. Like, if I would ask you, what did you do yesterday? You will be able to tell me in a much better way than, me asking you, what did you do last year on the same exact day? Would you remember?
As long as you are an FBI.
Or if you have maybe written down,
Yeah, journal maybe.
you have journaled your thoughts and your every day activities, chances are you might have forgotten. So in the same way, how could you seek advice to someone who is already like millions of steps ahead of you in any field?
Yeah,
Right.
that is a very unique perspective, Shireen, because generally we tend to go to those who are way ahead of us for advice. That's how our, general mindset is. But what we discussed, it kind of blew my mind. And now I am thinking, how do we assess that we are living an authentic life?
So there are no markers as such. Okay, there is not a fixed criteria based on we can judge that we are being authentic or not. It is unique to what authenticity means to me may not mean the same to you, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you my own example when I felt that I'm leading an inauthentic life. So you know me for a long time, right? That I am a big introvert that you can find. And like I said earlier, being around so many people makes me feel really not
Freaks you
myself.
out.
And no, it doesn't freak me out, but it's not my comfort zone.
Okay.
Rather say that it drains me, it drains my energy. But I'm really good in one-on-one conversations, and I can really connect to the person opposite to me, and I have this genuine love for people that I want to know more. I am curious. And also, like, my other values are I want to empower people. And also I have a creative side, I would say, where I want to do some writing and art, etc. So based on all these skills, I should have chosen a career, something along the lines of being a coach, maybe a graphic designer or a teacher, or maybe an artist, right? So rather, I chose a career in sales, okay, which means that I have to be around people. The more I am around people, the more I'm socializing and building connections, the more sales I'm getting. So it would drain me obviously in the process because peopling is not my natural skill. And also sales job is any sales job is very money oriented, right? You have to bring in the revenue. So there is no scope for expressing your creativity. So my writing skills or my artistic side got lost along the way.
Yeah.
And there was no expression. And since there was no expression, it caused me so much frustration. I felt like I am leading a life of a complete different person. And I was very unsatisfied in the process. So while I was doing self work with my coaches, obviously I understood that I was leading like 10 years of inauthentic life and not being true to myself. And it resulted in obviously major burnout. And then I had to quit my job and then obviously change the course of my life completely. And now I have decided to be a coach. It feels like, natural skill for me because the values that I have, wanting to help people genuinely and having empathy for people. And obviously, there is a big part of me which, is hungry for learning. So when I learn from people, it gives me a different kind of satisfaction on an individual level. So I feel like this is a good match, and you will know it. It is inside you. When you are living an inauthentic life, you will be very restless and obviously frustrated, angry, and all those negative emotions. Whereas when you are leading a life which you are meant to live and it is in accordance with your own self, your own skills, and your own values and belief system, it would be an easy life. Okay, you would be still doing hard work to get success or even to get by in your day to day life, but still it would feel like happiness and
You will
joy
enjoy.
and contentment within. So this is what has happened, to me. And then I can tell you from my example that we all will know when we are living an authentic life, like what looks different.
Yeah. So, as I understand, it is only the feeling of joy and real contentment that you will get, and that will help you grow, is the indicator that you are living an authentic life.
Yes, I would say the only indicator of an authentic life is the amount of joy and contentment you feel within on a day to day basis.
Awesome. But is it even possible to live 100% authentic life?
I told you earlier as well, there are no parameters as such. It is unique to everyone. And if not 100%, I would say most of the time it is possible to live an authentic life. Although living authentic comes with lot of challenges
Yeah.
of its own. For example, like if you want to eat in a certain way, wear clothes in a certain way, speak in a certain way, other people might not accept you because they would want you to live uh, as per the majority, as per everyone else around you in the society is living.
Yeah.
And it would be a disconnect for you because you will feel like you don't belong because other people will cast you out.
Mhm.
So you have to bear in mind that you could get lonely. So what you can do is either make peace with this loneliness or find people who are like minded, which sounds daunting. Obviously, it's a challenge for me as well, but you have to find people who are like minded so that you all can be lonely together. Not only that, we are talking about career over here, right? So if you have chosen a path, okay, that is authentic to you, authentic to your skills, then people in the beginning might mock you for making a bold move. They might even discourage you and bully you as well for choosing a path of your own. So you have to be emotionally strong and not succumb to any criticism that is coming towards you, because it is part and parcel of living an authentic life that you have to go through this process maybe every day.
Yeah. Now that you said this, I just remembered a quote of Gandhi. Okay. He said, people, first they will ridicule you, then they will argue with you,
Yeah,
then they will criticize you. In the end, you will win.
exactly. So yeah, we can look at this quote from the perspective of being authentic.
Yeah.
So in the end, if you are living authentic to yourself, you're already winning. So yeah, beautiful quote.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Gandhi is my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah. So,
Yes, and having said that, Afrin, we cannot completely isolate from society. Okay, we have to live in the society, and we have this natural want to, belong to society or belong to the people that are close to us. So, what we can do is, I will tell you my system. I have categorized my values based on what is non-negotiable and what is negotiable values. What I mean by that is, for example, being kind to animals is my top value. Okay, and if someone wants me to partake in some activity or gig that involves harming animals in any shape, way, or form, even for $1 billion, I wouldn't participate in that, right? Because it is non-negotiable for me. But on the other hand, say it is a weekend and my family wants to watch a movie, and during watching movie we order some snacks, and I am eating snacks with them, although I am feeling guilty because my other values are eating healthy at all times and not wasting my time in watching mindless TV, right? But I would still sacrifice it because I have a bigger value wherein I want to spend time with my family, and also, like, not be selfish with my family.
yeah.
So for a bigger value, bigger non-negotiable, I can compromise with smaller negotiable values. So, understanding what exactly is important to you and staying true to that will give you a lot more authenticity and lot more happiness and success in the process.
Absolutely. I think for all of us, there should be at least certain values where we cannot compromise at all,
Yeah,
and certain values where we have to
the
consider.
smaller ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because someone is your friend or family, like you said, and that's how human relationships work.
of course.
Coming back to relationship or talking about that, Shireen, as we discussed, in today's world, because of social media, because of external influences, authenticity is becoming less and less, right? So,
Extinct, if not extinct, on the verge of being extinct, I would
yeah,
say.
exactly. So, now that you are also coaching for couples and relationship related coaching, so do you think from your experience that this kind of lack of authenticity is also damaging the personal relationships?
This is a very interesting question, Afrin, because like what you said about inauthenticity affecting the relationship, I feel it is true because whenever couples come to me for coaching, one of the partner is always complaining that the other person has changed from who they were in the beginning of the relationship or when they were dating, and now that they have gotten married, he has changed or she has changed. So from that experience, I have understood that I said in the beginning that we want to please others, right? And in the way we become really inauthentic. So what people do when they are in a dating phase or get to know each other phase, they kind of fake their authenticity and they make promises that are not true and they cannot keep. And when they actually get together or they marry, it is difficult to live up to those expectations and those false promises and fake authenticity. So the other person starts to feel like this person has changed, whereas this is their true self. What they were pretending before might be their fake authenticity.
Right.
So yeah, this is one of the reasons that there are conflicts between couples, and even divorces are happening these days.
I now, even for my personal interest, I have this question. Is there any way that we can check or maybe understand that the other person whom we are going to get married to might be faking authenticity?
This is again a very interesting question, okay, and I could address it in many ways, but I will tell you my take on this. So, for me to know if a person is being authentic or not, or to understand the emotions of the other person, the best way is to understand my own emotions and to understand myself better. So, for example, if the other person is being angry, so instead of thinking why this person is angry, I go back to myself, what makes me angry? Maybe in the similar situation. So it is a little bit complicated. I will break it down to you. So, for example, I am in an argument with someone and that person is getting really angry. So, instead of understanding why this person is angry, I would imagine myself in any conversations or arguments that I have gotten angry. So, from imagining that and understanding why I get angry, like maybe I felt jealous, I felt cornered, I felt vulnerable, and my reaction was anger to that. So, through that understanding, I can understand that I think it is called empathy, what I'm trying to say, that this person is getting angry, so these are could be the reason. So, this way, I can not only understand the person but also make my reaction accordingly to not only pacify the situation but also maybe if I want to win an argument, I can win an argument. So, in the similar way, like if you are being authentic and you have understood authenticity very well, you know what is authentic to you. Through that understanding, when you meet someone, you will understand if they are being authentic or not. Because it is like first understanding the concept, then only you will understand what it looks like on other person. So this is one way you can spot, and it is also natural inbuilt. It is instinct and it is a gut feeling. You should never ignore. I always say because it is your intuition, and you should stay true. Being authentic also means staying true to your intuitions and listening to your intuitions because it is a guiding force. It is always guiding you towards what is right for you, what is good for you in the long run.
Right, and also I feel if we pay attention to the pattern of actions of the other person, so someone did something one time which is not okay for you,
Yeah.
and that person promises that it won't happen again, but it happens again and third time. So there is a pattern that is happening, and there are a couple of different things all happening in a pattern. Then obviously you can compile or you can put all those red flags together and you can understand whether to go ahead or not with that person.
Of course, because they are just making false promises and being inauthentic to you, whereas you are not as important as they are showing you are important to them.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if we feel something is important, for you and you have genuine love for it, obviously you will respond in a different way, right, than avoiding it or maybe lying to you. So it's quite understandable. I mean, every couple is unique, and this is the beauty of it. Every couple brings different experiences to the table, but by and large, we can say that this is what happens when we are being inauthentic, because sometimes we promise only out of, I don't know, ignorance, I would say, and then it becomes really difficult to fulfill those promises. So this happens not only between couple relationships, but in any relationships. Just promising something which is not feasible for you and beyond your capacity, even in like small thing. For example, if I promise someone I will spend tomorrow with you, it is not possible. I cannot spend one full day with someone. I have other responsibilities as well. So not today, not tomorrow, not even on Sunday. I am not free to spend one complete day with someone. So if I promise someone one day or 1 week and then I'm not able to keep it, obviously I was being inauthentic.
Yeah, I have noticed when people are in good mood, they tend to make promises that they can't keep, honestly. So yeah, I think being authentic has a lot to do with awareness, your gut feeling, and understanding what really excites our soul.
Obviously, and also being brave, because if you do not have courage to live an authentic life, even though you understand the concept, it's of no use because you won't be able to put it into practical, and that would cause you another set of frustration.
Right.
So, having courage, because at the end of this tunnel, there is light in terms of success, happiness, and fulfillment for life.
Like Gandhi said, in the end, you win.
Well said.
Yeah. Okay, and I think I had a few doubts, but now they are clear with our discussion.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you, Shireen, and thank you for watching today's episode. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, we are on audio platforms like Apple Podcast and Spotify. You might want to go there and check it out as well. We will be back soon in the next episode again with an amazing topic to discuss. Until then, keep working on yourself and stay fit.